Hello, Tiffany here, and I want to welcome you to the webinar. I'm talking today about stuck weight loss, and this is a problem that shows up so much for my clients, and I thought it's important for me to not just make all these tiny Facebook lives and YouTube videos and all these different separate paths to this information and try to take some time and pull this all together. So I'm glad that you found this webinar, whether it was online or on Facebook or wherever, and we're going to dive into some stuck weight loss issues over the next 20 minutes here. You'll also have a worksheet where you can capture, which variables or factors are your issues, and then some direction on which foods you can take out, which things you can change and shift, so that you don't have to just madly scribble as I'm talking here to keep track of everything, okay? So let's define stuck weight loss just a little bit. So I think, you realize if your weight is not coming off at the rate that you would expect it to, right? If you're one of those people who's done everything, who's exercised, who's restricted calories, who's cut carbohydrates, who's taken every fat burner known to man, right? Who's done the green smoothie challenge and listened to your girlfriend when she said to drink apple cider vinegar, lemonade, and hot sauce. Lemons and hot sauce. If you've done every program out there and you are at your wit's end, this particular webinar is for you. And I can tell you, as someone who has gone through all kinds of journeys with weight management, weight loss, and a metabolism that at times has seemed really stuck and unreasonable, I feel you, okay? I know where you're coming from. And it has been, it'll be 18 years here now that I have been doing this kind of work, helping people with their weight, helping them to achieve their best health and feel like they're in their best body. And so this information is not just kind of anecdotal and subjective. This is absolutely what I've observed with many of the people that I've worked with and supported. So just a little bit about me. I started out a while back at this point just doing fitness training. So just being a personal trainer, teaching cardio classes, all that kind of stuff. I did my fair share for a decade of fitness shows and took my body through the rigmarole of that. And I got into fitness because I always struggled with weight growing up. And I really loved exercise as a way to try to figure it out. And I've been on every diet when I was younger as well. And I was attracted to the lifestyle of being fit and exercising. And so then as I was in the fitness industry, I learned more about nutrition, and I decided that I needed to add that designation to what it is that I offer my clients. And so then I became approved by the dietetic board to offer nutrition. From there, I went on to realize that my clients were having a lot of kind of behavioral challenges when it came to learning, not just learning what to do, but how to apply what they were learning. So I decided, I think some of what I'm dealing with is a little bit more advanced than exercise and nutrition. And I embarked on the path of what was initially just going to be coaching, and I decided to become a mental health counselor. So I'm at this point a licensed mental health counselor, and I treat eating disorders, compulsive eating, binge eating, anything related to disordered eating behaviors, as well as anxiety and attention deficit, because attention deficit will show up a lot when it comes to really trying to adhere to meal programs and weight loss efforts. So as I continued on this journey, I collected a few other designations along the way. I've become certified in a number of different ways to do a lot of functional nutrition work, functional medicine work, and natural health. And currently I am on the path to becoming a naturopathic doctor. I'm in the last phase of that. And so a lot of what I'm talking about today comes from this more integrated background, right? And I think when you start to deal with your own stuck weight loss, you want to take an integrated approach. You don't want to just look at this from one perspective, okay? And that's what I'm going to tell you about today. Okay, so let's jump into it because I've explained a lot here. Okay, so stuck weight loss. What I want you to know is all these variables tend to play into the process for me when I'm working with people and problem solving, okay? So your first piece here is water. So I want you to make a note. For water, it is half your body weight in ounces, okay? Half your body weight in ounces of water, all right? So you need to take whatever weight you are. If you're 200 pounds, you need to divide that in half, and you say, okay, that means I need to have 100 ounces of water every day, okay? 100 ounces of water every day. All right, now, this will increase whenever you have a diuretic, okay? So your water demand will increase when you have a diuretic. A diuretic is going to include, but not be limited to, okay, caffeine, see if I can spell it, and alcohol. Okay, so caffeine and alcohol will increase your need for water because they are diuretics and they actually pull water out of the body. All right, now why is water so important? Every process in the body depends on water, and the process of losing fat and releasing fat from the body requires a hydrated state. So if you are chronically dehydrated, you're going to have a very hard time losing weight. All right, so first order of business is water. So now the questions that I get asked are, well, does it have to be water, Tiffany, or can I do something else? Does milk count? And so what I want you to know is that I do count herbal teas, so you can count those. You can also count dairy-free milks, so nut milk, so almond milk, cashew milk, coconut milk, those types of things. We'll let you count those towards your water intake, okay? All right, so water. Moving on, all right? And if you have questions, I'll let you know towards the end of this webinar what you can do with those questions, okay? Sleep, 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 sleep. How much sleep do you think you need? 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I don't care what you read or who said what or whatever. I want you to go with 7 to 8 hours of sleep, okay? So what? You're able to get by with 6 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep and get to work and function, okay? We're talking about your weight loss being stuck, and so I'm telling you how you're going to diva hack this, basically. FRL diva hack this. You're going to have to focus on getting the right amount of sleep. Now, here are some more details I want you to take a note of here. It's not enough just to get the 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I need deep quality sleep. So I want to make sure that you've done all the things that a good FRL diva knows to do for her sleep hygiene, and you are not taking devices into the bed. You are not sleeping in a room with a TV that's on and that you're trying to deal with while you're sleeping. You're not letting a lot of light come into your room. You're not allowing animals, like pets, you know, not wild animals, but pets into your bed. Children that just can't find their way back to their room. You're not allowing all of them to hang out in your bed and thinking that you're getting quality sleep. I need you to have all of those factors addressed. I need good sleep hygiene here. And with good sleep hygiene, you will find that you will get that deep restorative sleep that you need, because guess what? You lose weight in your sleep. So if you're not getting that deep sleep and the different REM cycles and all of that you need, you're going to have a hard time losing weight, okay? So I want you to get deep, high-quality sleep. Now, going to bed at 12 and getting up at 8 is not the same thing as going to bed at 10 and getting up at 6. Going to bed after 10 o'clock changes things, okay? So I'm not going to use this webinar to get into circadian rhythm and the heaviness of all that, but what I want you to know is that I really need you to try to get in bed at 10 p.m. The absolute latest would be 11, and that doesn't really make me happy, okay? So, sleep. All right, so biggie. This is one of my heavy hitters, and what you're going to find is that stress, that's the next one, actually breaks out to be quite a few factors. So let's talk about this here. If you have stuck weight loss and you're like, Tiffany, I'm doing the water thing, Tiffany, I'm doing the sleep thing, then I want you to know that your problem is probably underneath stress. Now, I will not get very intensely or deeply into any of these particular factors, but I've made a ton of videos on all of them, so I would encourage you to go back to the YouTube channel and take a peek at those. What I want you to know is that stress impacts your hormones, specifically the hormones thyroid and adrenals, okay? So these are the glands, but I want you to know that the hormones that are related to the thyroid and adrenals are seriously involved in the process of weight loss, okay? And so if they're stressed out, you're going to have a very hard time with feeling motivated to exercise, first of all, but actually losing weight. So your job is to keep your thyroid and your adrenals happy, okay? All right, let me tell you about the things that make your thyroid and adrenals unhappy. All right, food intolerances. What am I talking about? Okay, so think about a food allergy and then take 10 steps back, and then that's a food intolerance, all right? So before you get to full-blown allergy, you've got intolerance, okay? And so if your body is dealing with foods it doesn't like, that's very stressful to your adrenals, and that's going to that will make it much harder for you to actually lose weight. Okay, so here's what I want you to consider when looking at which foods might be problematic for you. I'm going to write them over here and then I'm going to move out the way, but I'm going to say them as I'm writing them, and you should already have them on your handy-dandy handout. Okay, so we're going to pull out dairy, okay, gluten, soy, corn, eggs, alcohol, peanuts, let's see here, okay, and sugar substitutes. Okay, so I was going to move out of the way, so I'm moving out of the way. Dairy, so you know what dairy is. That's going to be cheese and milk products, and yes, for right now I'm even saying yogurt. Gluten, pastas, breads, rolls, biscuits, you name it. Soy shows up in everything. So everybody thinks soy sauce, edamame, or tofu, and I mean soy's in everything, okay? Corn, yep, corn. Eggs, yep, eggs for right now. Alcohol, you'll be okay, I need you to let it go. Peanuts, they're extremely moldy. They're full of all kinds of fun little toxins. And sugars and sugar substitutes, okay? And yes, all sugar. Yeah, even that one too. All the ones that you're asking in your head right now, all the sugars, just pull them out, okay? Because sugar for the wrong body is going to cause an inflammatory response, right? Now we're stressing out the thyroid and adrenals. I cannot tell you, it's been almost 3 years now that I have been doing the Afro Diva Slim Down. And it is pretty much based on removing these foods and adding water in and encouraging the divas to get some sleep. And most people will lose 7 to 10 pounds like within the first 12 days. Okay? And a lot of that is just the stress response of the hormones from the foods that it just cannot handle. Now, again, I don't have time to get into why each of these foods is a problem, but I promise you if you were to make adjustments there, you would see a huge difference. And the first question people ask is, what do I eat if I take all these things out? And that's what we do with the Afro Diva Slim Down and any private nutrition programs I'm doing is I teach you how to eat. But trust and believe there's plenty out there for you to eat, okay? So if your body doesn't like these foods, if it's having a low-level allergy response to them, that's going to stress out your thyroid and adrenals. So by pulling these foods out, you notice a huge shift in the way that your energy is managed, and you'll be able to see some weight loss. Lifestyle. Okay, so this is go, go, go. Let's go, go, go. And busy brain. Flying here, flying there, running here, picking somebody up, dropping somebody off. I'm just a chauffeur. I'm in this state and that state. I'm in another country. I'm back and forth. If that's you, or even if it's not you and it used to be you, or you have some other version of that experience, lots of pressure at work, working lots of hours, not getting home at a reasonable time, not being able to spend time with your family, not having time for spirituality or whatever it is, that is going to be very hard on your thyroid and adrenals. Your adrenals are responsible for managing stress. You're stressing them out. And then the busy brain. You know this is you if you go to sleep at night and all you do is think about all the things that you have to do, or you wake up in the middle of the night and think about all the things you have to do, and you might even start doing them. Crazy. But I hear stuff like that all the time, okay? I woke up at 2 with this idea about something that was due at work, so I started doing it, or I sent an email to somebody. That is not conducive to weight loss. Okay, I need you to stop it right now. So put a pad of paper on your nightstand. Write the idea down. If you have a lot of things running around in your head, put it on paper. And in the other areas of your life, what notoriously I find is that superwomen who later become FRL divas are unable to delegate. And they feel like they have to do everything themselves, and they don't have great boundaries. Yes, I said it. So boundaries and delegation. That's your job if this is you. Okay, moving on. Infection. Infection is an interesting one. What I find is a lot of people that come to me are going to have some version of a candida infection, okay? So women are more accustomed to hearing about like yeast infections, like vaginal yeast infections, but if you have dandruff, if you have athlete's foot, but more importantly, a toe fungus, like a toenail fungus, if you have chronic digestive issues with lots of bloating and gassiness and noxious gas, especially if you have skin growths or patches in different places, that's going to be the candida piece. And let me tell you that candida, one, is going to make your cravings for sugar really go up. So that's kind of how I know when somebody comes in and they've got one of the things I just described from a physiological, there we go, physiological perspective, if they've got one of those things going on. But psychologically, if they're really anxious and then on top of that they're craving lots of sugar, I know that they've got a candida overgrowth. If you go to my website, www.tiffany'sfitforlife.com, it's one of our websites, and we'll put the link under the webinar, of course. You can take the candida quiz and figure out if that's you. This is an infection. Now, candida is supposed to normally be in the system, but a lot of times it will overgrow, okay? And it can cause all kinds of icky problems. And so if candida is overgrown in the system, then your thyroid and your adrenals are once again angry at you, and you are not losing weight in the way that we need you to, okay? So that's what we're looking at here, okay, is fighting that candida infection. What I can tell you, I guess I need to tell you what you need to do about it. I do a lot of anti-candida protocols, anti-candida treatments with clients. If you have any of the physical stuff that I mentioned, I can help you, remedy that. Just Google it. Google anti-candida diet, anti-candida protocols. It's pretty tough. I find that I need to put most people on something from 3 to 12 months. So it may not be something that you want to embark on your own, but there definitely is information out there for this. We're almost done. This is the last one. Over-exercise. What does that mean? It means something different for every person. What I can tell you is exercising for chronically, like for hours, right? So, on a daily basis, you're putting in 2 to 3 hours of exercise. You're doing that all the time. A lot of it is high impact, high intensity, but more importantly, a lot of it is cardiovascular. That is very stressful for the adrenals and the thyroid, okay? If you're working out when you're sleep deprived, if you're working out too early in the morning and that feels bad for your body, this can fall into the over-exercise category. I cannot tell you, if I had $1, I'd be rich for every person that this has been successful with. How many people that were having adrenal problems and stuck weight loss that when I took them off of exercise started to lose weight? So now I do have specific exercise protocols that I will recommend, but things that are high intensity, high impact, demanding, and frequent, those have to fall away. So it has to come down to like 2 to 3 days of like a circuit, total body strength training routine, lots of restorative work, getting out in nature, lots of long walks, an hour to 2 hour of walking outside on a daily basis, yoga, meditation. You've got to have a lot of restorative work in there if you're dealing with this over-exercise adrenal pathway here, because it's going to be very difficult to lose weight otherwise, okay? But more is not better. More is not better, especially if you are 35 to 40 years old. If you've dealt with any sort of hormonal problems, if someone's diagnosed you with PCOS, if you just are tired all the time, you cannot lose weight, you're stuck. Over exercise, all that running and pounding is a big culprit, okay? So backing off of this. So what we said, hydration, sleep, stress management, Those are the biggies when it comes to how to get unstuck. And I definitely have group programs. We have F-Real Diva Slim Downs that start at the beginning of every month. If you feel like, man, I can't do this by myself, Tiffany, this is way too much, or I feel overwhelmed, we have programs available to you, and you know, there's lots of accountability built into them. You can work with me one-on-one, but even more importantly, we have group programs that will help with getting kind of different people to interact with, different perspectives, camaraderie, but accountability on a daily basis. That's what I'm most pleased with when it comes to our group programs, is that it's such a high level of accountability. So you have those available to you. So I'll put the information below the video, okay? And then the links, like I mentioned, so that you can get some information on the questionnaires, all right? So I hope that this was good enough to help you become unstuck, all right? I'm Tiffany Brown Bush. I'm an integrative mental health counselor. I look forward to helping you be fit for life. Take care.